the way, I eat first. And I was like, okay, excuse me? And he was like, you make my plate and I eat first and then y'all eat after me. And she busts through that door and she is yelling, he's yelling, and he pulls a gun on her. I step in front of the gun.
So now there's a gun between you and your mom, and he's pointing the gun at you as you're talking.
Yes. And so then again, I found myself in front of his gun. So his brother calls and he gives him some story about how he's going to check out a job, and his brother knows automatically. He calls me and he's like, get out of there. Parks in there some crazy way, busts through there, and he starts telling the cop that I'm missing. The cop that I talked to, that he talked to, thought I was dead. Pushed up against the wall by his cousin's baby daddy at the time. I was sexually assaulted then. I remember thinking, I am drowning. I am literally drowning. And I just sat there and imagined Jesus coming to me and pulling me out of the water like he did with Peter and holding me. And I was like, I need you. Oh my gosh, I need you.
All right, Brooke Ballenger on the A2O podcast.
Yes.
You and your husband Dalton are my number one fans.
Thanks.
You know, Dalton is the only one that I think you and Dalton are the only ones that listen on Spotify. So when I don't post it on Spotify, he lets me know, and I keep him on my toes. Sure. So
for sure,
Brooke Ballenger is also maybe one of the handful of women that I know personally that can outlift me in every category. CrossFit queen. By day, works at the church as well. So a lot of cool things about you, Brooke. So I'm thankful to have you on the podcast. You've got an amazing story. So I will let you just introduce yourself a little bit, and then you just take us away and tell us how God's moved in your life.
All right. Well, my name is Brooke. I grew up in a very loving home. I had no problem with my childhood. I was actually pretty spoiled. At one point, I made all A's and B's on my report card, and my grandmother asked me what I wanted, and I said I wanted to go to Paris, France, and she took me to Paris, France.
Oh my goodness.
The year after that.
Yeah, Eiffel Tower, everything.
Yes, yeah.
How old were you?
13, I think, maybe 12, something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was great. The year after that, I did the same thing. She asked what I wanted. I said a cruise. I got a cruise to Mexico.
I leave.
So, I had a very good childhood.
Did you ask her what you wanted? Did she ask what you wanted since you're coming on the podcast? You say like a tale of a recording studio?
No. I mean, I could ask her, but
I want to text her right now.
Yeah, I had a big family home, you know. It was a good childhood. At 13, my parents got a divorce, and that it didn't really mess me up like it does most kids, because I knew that they were having troubles. Maybe it hurt my younger brothers a little bit more than me, but I was okay with it. And my dad made the mistake of taking us to see Talladega Nights when we were kids. And so my first thought was, yay, 2 Christmases. So I was okay with it.
That movie is so great.
Yeah.
If you can drive, what does he do? Puts a cougar in the car with him?
Yes, yeah, no, yeah, a cougar.
Baby Jesus and Tuck. Okay, we're going to get off.
Yeah.
Just we're blaspheming very quick.
So, when that happened, for some reason, I started praying, and I was like, you know what? I want my family to be one family. I don't want us to have a divorce or anything. I want my kids to grow up with all of us having the same last name, and we are going to stay together, and that my kids are going to see the love that we have. And it kind of happened for me. So when I was 17, I decided that I was going to move out of my house, my mom's house. And I just didn't like the rules that they had applied to me at the time. And I was just like, you know what? I don't have to deal with this. I was almost 18. So I was basically threatening my mom with, you're going to let me move out now, or when I turn 18, I'm going to leave and you're never going to hear from me again. Jeez. So that was a little dramatic. So she was like, all right, fine, that's fine, but you're not coming back. And so I moved out, and I moved in with a boy at the time, and we were very wishy-washy. So he would break up with me, and I would have to find somewhere to go because my mom told me I wasn't coming back. And so that's how it was. My dad at the time would have taken me in, but he was married to my stepmom at the time, who was not a very good stepmother. Mm-hmm. She was very controlling. She was very strict. She was somebody who would, one of her things is that she would take your phone and she would just go through it. And
it's just every 18, 19-year-old's nightmare.
Yes. And so I would have much rather lived on the streets than going to their house. And I feel bad saying that. My dad is an amazing dad. He just was in a bad marriage at the time. But
what was it like, because you wanted this idea of having this family where y'all share the same last name, kids, never splitting up, to be 18, 19, and the reality that you're living in of not really having a place to live, bouncing back and forth. What was that like in those moments? Or did you even care at that point? Just
I cared. It was stressful, not knowing where I was going to go sometimes. Luckily, I had a very good friend. Her name was Kendra, or is Kendra. She's still here. And she's still a very good friend of mine. And I got to move in with her. Her dad was very accepting with me moving in. And so that was my home for about 3 years.
Wow.
And I still can't thank them enough for doing that for me. But there for a little bit, I didn't know what I was going to do. And then Kendra was like, move in with me. And so that was my home. And probably about 19, this guy that I did originally move out for, we were still on and off. We got an apartment together, and he was like, okay, so I got you this apartment. Now you're on your own. And so that kind of threw me off. I was like, okay, so we're breaking up. Like, what's going on?
And you're moving into the apartment.
Yes.
You've gotten the apartment, and in that, he says we're done.
Yes. And I'm like, all right, cool. So then I kind of just like start doing my own thing, like I finally have my own place. I'm just like, okay, let's go wild. And
that's the first thought.
Yeah.
Got my own place.
I got a job. I make my own money. Let's go wild, So that is when I met, and I'm going to call him BDD. Yep. That was the nickname my dad gave him during this podcast. So he's going to go by BDD. Yeah. So that's when I met BDD. And at first it was kind of like, it was not anything really. It was just kind of like a, what do you call it when you are trying to get back at somebody?
A rebound.
There you go. A rebound. Yeah. And so that happened. And when I turned 20, this was in July, I realized I was pregnant. So I call this, it's the only other person I know. And I was like, okay, I get him into the apartment and I sit him down and I tell him. And he was very sweet about it at first. He was like, oh, this is great. Like we're going to get through this together. Just say, no, I love you. We're going to be a great, happy family. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, he wants me to move in with him and all that. And I guess it's reasonable, we're having kids together. So I'm like, okay. And now let me tell you, the red flag, this was the very first red flag. When I went to tell my parents, so I told my mom the night I found out. I was at the nursing home, and it was like, I worked night shift, so it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I called her and told her. My dad, though, I wasn't scared of my dad. I was scared of my stepmom.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I needed to tell him in person. And the red flag was that this BDD had not met any of my parents yet. And I was like, we need to go tell my dad. And he was like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's maybe a good call on his part. Hey,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah. Right.
BB, whatever.
Right. And so he did not go. And I did not think anything of it. I was like, okay, yeah, understandable. And I remember telling my dad, so it was really funny because we were having a barbecue and my dad wanted a pool. And he was like, well, I'm not getting a pool until I have grandkids. Well, my stepmom said that to him. And he was like, okay, fine. When grandkids come around, I will get my pool. And I'm just sitting there like with my plate like, oh gosh.
You better be like,
yeah,
you better have
ready.
20 grand in the bank account right now.
Yeah. And so I sit him down that night and I'm like, this is what's going on. And I tell him, and he kind of just drops his head in his shoulders. And I was like, here's the good thing though. I was like, it's not a teen pregnancy.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my
beat the
gosh.
odds.
Yeah. I was like, we got it. It's all right. I'm 20. It's fine. And so automatically he's like, where's he at? Why didn't he come here with you? And I was like, well, it's a good question. Mm-hmm. And so, honestly, I can't even remember how he was introduced to my parents or anything like that. I'm guessing my mom liked him there for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Or maybe she faked it. Not really sure.
Yeah. She really liked him until we had dinner for the first time.
Yeah, basically. My dad did not like him at all. Ever since he found out, he was like, oh, he wasn't even man enough to come tell me himself. I was like, okay, all right. I understand. Yeah. So, I move in with him. That was one of the things. He was like, you need to move in with me. And when I move in with him, I move in with him, his dad, and his brother. Mm-hmm. And I worked for a little bit, and we found out, we went to an ultrasound, and the very first ultrasound, and we find out that it's twins. And he automatically is just so upset. Really? He's in there with us, yes. And he's just like, 2? Are you serious? There's 2 of them? And I was for me, I guess it kind of caught me off guard too, because this was my first pregnancy. And
it's a big shock.
Like, yes, it was an
big shock.
Extreme shock. And I remember my stepmom at the time, she was recording because she was like, oh, this is fantastic. Also, she was one of those people who had to be at everything. Always in everybody's business.
Yep.
And she just dropped her phone because we did not have the reactions that were Facebook worthy.
Yeah. Probably would have had like 2 million views.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So we're all in base shock. And so we also find out that one of them's a boy. And so we're like, okay, cool. The other one we can't really see at the moment. And later on we find out they're both boys. But when he found out there was 2 of them, that's when he started kind of stressing out and spiraling, I guess you could say. Yeah. And one of the things was, you have to quit your job because you are going to hurt yourself lifting these people. Because, you do a lot of lifting and all that when you're a CNA. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, that's reasonable. I'll do that. And so here I am living with him, his dad, his brother, with no job. And they want me to go grocery shopping with his dad every now and then. Like when he goes grocery shopping, I go with him. And one of the things that bothered me was the doctor told me I needed iron pills, like vitamins or something, because I had low iron. And the one thing, pregnancy pills, what is it called? Prenatal vitamins. And I didn't know. This is my first time being pregnant, so I didn't know I had to have these vitamins. So she told me. So I went and got these vitamins. Mind you, I have no money. I'm,
I don't have a job now.
No job. So I just very casually put these vitamins in the cart, and his dad is like, "What are these? Why are you getting these? Why do you need these?" And so I kind of was just like, I need them. Like they're a need. The doctor told me I needed to get them, and he just seemed very upset about it that I was putting stuff in the cart. I guess I should have asked. I don't.
So I live with you now.
Yeah,
I had to quit my job.
Yes,
this is a natural conclusion.
And so that kind of upset me. So then after that, I was like, I need a job. Like, I just want a job. All I do is sit around the house. I would like a job that I can go to. And he was just like, okay, whatever, And my friend Caitlin at the time, she told me about a job where I would sit at a desk and I was that annoying telemarketer. I'd call you and I'd be like, hey, my name is so-and-so. Would you like to donate to the Salvation Army or whatever it was? And I got a job doing that for the rest of my pregnancy. And I worked from 3 to 7. And I'd make probably about $120 a week.
Jeez.
But yeah, not much at all.
Did you get a percentage of the donations?
Right.
Or
No. At one point he said that he wanted to put me on, what's it called? Where I don't make money hourly. I get
goodness, people are gonna roast us for this. Commission.
Yes, commission. And I wasn't getting anything, and I kind of felt like this was a scam. Like, I did not like what I was doing. So I was like, no, it's okay, because I would literally call people and tell them, like, hey, would you want to do this? And they'd say no, and I'd be like, okay, great, bye. And I wouldn't really sell it like I was supposed to, because I knew, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, if it was me that they were calling, I'd be yelling at them. So,
yeah, listen. Do you want to? I wouldn't donate.
Yeah.
But if you want
to, yes,
I would appreciate it.
Right. So, I remember one night. This is when I kind of knew that something was going on. I remember one night. Also, I didn't mention this before. He was a recovering addict when I met him, and this one night, I was going into work, and he was making meatballs on the stove. Like, put the meatballs in, frozen meatballs, spaghetti sauce, and you just let the meatballs cook. Well, it was 2:30, something like that, because we lived out in Bremen. It was a drive to get to Coleman. And I was like, okay, well, I'm leaving, going to work, so-and-so. I come back home. Meatballs are still cooking on the stove for 4 hours. Actually, more like 5 hours at this time, because it was 30-minute drive there and 30-minute drive back. And he was in the exact same spot he was that I left him at on the couch, and he was knocked out. And I knew he was kind of knocked out when I left, but I was just like, okay, surely he will remember or wake up or, smell food burning. No,
smell
it was
bricks
like,
that are on these stones.
Literally, I open it and it's just charcoal, and it's still burning.
We're gonna kill these gnats.
Yes, I know, it's horrible, but they probably don't even see the gnats too. They just see us fidgeting. Yeah.
She's the addict. Right?
Yeah, right. But and I'm just like, I'm so mad too, and I just like shake him awake, and I'm like, what is your problem? Like, why do you still have the meatballs cooking? And he's just like, well, I'm just so tired. Like, I can't help it. I'm so tired. And I think his brother and his dad kind of got onto him for that. And at the time, I didn't know what it was. I've never really been around drugs before. So I've been around people smoking weed and pot, whatever you want to call it. But the hardcore stuff, like the pills and all that, I didn't know how people acted, like I didn't get it. And so I was like kind of blinded at the time. I was like, you know what? I believe him. He's just tired. He's worked out in the sun all day long and he didn't hear the smoke detector going off, like he was just not tired.
For 3 hours, it's rolling out of his mouth, smoke detector going off. He just,
yes.
long day at work.
Yeah, long day at work. And so all of a sudden he's like, you know what? And I'm very close to having the babies at this time. And, matter of fact, a couple of weeks pass, and I'm thinking his dad and his brother staying on him about certain things, and I didn't see any of it. I still had no clue. This is just a guess, and we have the babies, and the whole time in the hospital, he's gone. And he's
the whole time you're having the baby, she's not there, he's not present.
So the baby, me having the babies, I had a C-section. That was super quick, and he was there in the room. But when I go back to the room, the recovering part, he's gone. He's out with his family. They're celebrating, having drinks, all kinds of stuff, and I'm just in the
recently
hospital.
filleted.
Yes. And my mom stayed by my side the whole time, and I'm so thankful for that. She gave me my first shower. She helped me out of bed, all kinds of stuff. And matter of fact, I do want to give credit to BDD's brother and I guess you could say sister-in-law. I don't really know if they're married. I don't know at the time, because they helped me through a lot. And they were actually there. Couldn't imagine that. He's not, but he is.
Yeah.
And she is showing me her new white Converse. And I'm like, oh, they're beautiful. And the doctor's like, okay, it's time for you to stand up out of bed after 8 hours. And when I do, it's just horrible mess. And I'm not even going to try to explain it on the podcast.
Yeah.
But
Converse were no longer white.
No, we're not. And so I felt bad for that. I was like, I'm so sorry. Just like, no, it's okay. Well, anyways, they eventually go on out and celebrate and all that as well. But yeah, for most of the part, he wasn't really there. I don't even think he slept there. I can't remember. My mom did, though. Yeah. She was there. And what got me was the boys had to stay in the NICU. And my mom, now when it was time for me to go, he was like, okay, I'm going home. But I couldn't. I was like, no, I'm not leaving my babies.
Yeah.
And my mom, fought the doctors and was like, we need to room something. And the doctors she didn't really fight the doctors. They were really nice people. And they were like, you know what? We're going to give you a hotel room right here in the hospital. And you can stay there. And it's like a hotel room for doctors that are working big shifts and stuff. And this is St. Vincent's, by the way. St. Vincent's is amazing.
Okay.
Love St. Vincent's. And so, am I allowed to say things like that?
Hopefully they give us a sponsorship.
Yeah.
I'm sure they need it right off about $50,000.
Yes. They are amazing. So they give us a hotel room for, I think, the good price of $30 a night. And we are able to stay with the boys in probably about 5 days, I think. And they're like, look, we can't do this anymore. Y'all have to go. And they're like, if you want, you can sleep in the NICU. And we're like, okay, cool. So
now your kids are in the NICU. What's going on? Why are they there?
Their lungs just have not developed yet. They were born 3 weeks early.
Okay.
But they were very big for their age. I think Rocky was 5 pounds, 9 ounces, and River was 6 pounds, 1 ounce.
Mm-hmm.
And they just couldn't breathe on their own, basically. And so they needed a little help getting their lungs going. Now, Rocky was in there, I think, 2 weeks. And we got to bring Rocky home. And what killed me is that River was supposed to go home that day too, but he did not pass the car seat test. They do a car seat test. And it's like basically put him in the car seat, and if his heart rate or something goes down, then he has to stay a whole nother 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
And that's exactly what happened. And that tore me up, having to bring, because I had to leave one. Like, I had to take one home and leave a River there. It's going to make me cry thinking.
Yeah, it's awful.
So, oh my gosh, that tore me up, because I just couldn't imagine poor little River being up there by himself at nighttime. And that he was taken care of. They had my breast milk. They had everything they needed. But still, I was just like, he's up there all by himself. And the next day I remember going in, and they had like 2 little NICU beds. And the NICU bed that Rocky was in was already taken. So he was sharing like a room with a stranger, basically, which I know it's just a baby, but still, I was like, I don't like this.
Dude has had his friend with him for 9 months. And now he's
and now he's all alone up here. And this is in Birmingham and wearing Coleman. So it's just like, finally he comes home. Well, then my mom decides to stay at the house for 2 weeks, which was such a blessing, because BDD was not help at all. So she's staying with us, and we get a DHR call. And at the time, I was like, who on earth would call? I'm still blinded, okay? Yeah. My mom, who has worked in law enforcement for I don't even know how many years, knows exactly what is going on. This guy's walking around the house. He's like zombified, drooling out of his mouth, walking down the hallway like he is on something. And so she comes in, the DHR lady, and she's like, I don't see anything wrong. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Eventually my mom has to go home. And after she leaves, DHR gets called again. And same thing, same old, same old. The HR lady's like, I see nothing wrong. Because this guy's putting on a show. Yeah. Every time there's a family member around. Now, with my mom, he didn't care. I think he just got relaxed with my mom being there for so long that he did not care. But every time he went around my dad or the DHR lady came around, he was like, I'm the number one dad. Yeah. And so that's what threw off the DHR lady, I do believe.
How did that affect you to have someone that, are you at this point understanding that you've got to get out of the situation, or are you just blinded?
I'm blinded. Okay. I'm completely blinded. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with him. He works too hard. So that's what I think. And I had no idea the effects of like
what hard narcotics and drugs are.
I had no idea. I was just like, he's just tired. Like, leave the guy alone,
What was he doing for work?
He did, what's it called? Asphalt.
Okay, well, that puts some clarification. Yes. That's really hard labor.
Yeah, and it's hot outside. I'm like, dude's just tired,
I thought you were going to say, he worked like cashier at Dollar General. I was
like,
okay.
No, like, then I would have some suspicion, but no. So, I decided he wasn't giving me much help. And for me being a new mom with twins, I was like,
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
I was wore out. I was tired. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go visit my mom who lives in Gulf Shores. And I'm like, I'm just going to go visit her. Well, that visit turned into like a 3-month stay. And the whole time he was like barely texting me. And so I'm just like, hey, is this it? Like, does he not care? Is he not going to come see us? What's going on? Because
what made you stay for 3 months?
I didn't want to go back, I guess. I'm a beach person as well. So, and she lived right on the beach. She lived in Dolphin Island at the time. So, I was living the life. And I had
help with the kids.
Yes, I had help. And she wouldn't help me to where it was like the grandparents were taking care of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, these are your kids, which I understood that, but it was just enough help to make me stay.
Yeah.
And she was okay with it. I think, like I said, I think she saw what was going on, and she just wanted me out of that situation. Yes. So she was like, yeah, come on. So she has a in-law suite, and I move into it. And for some reason, out of nowhere, BDD is like, okay, I'm moving down there too. And I'm like, okay, cool, great. Like, I'm glad you decided to finally show up.
And your mom is okay with this?
Yes. Yeah, she is. I'm still technically in a relationship with him. And, like, we FaceTimed here and there. But, again, I'm blinded by the situation. But my mom's like, why isn't he caring more? Why isn't he like, hey, you need to come home, you got my kids? Or, like, I need to show up there because you got my kids. And so he finally shows up. And I think it was more on the line because at home, his brother and his dad knew what was going on. And I think they might have chased him away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? I'll go down here. Because when he got there, he was talking about how he was excited for a new start. This is what they need, or he needs, new people in his life, yada, yada, yada. So he gets a job doing plumbing down there, commercial plumbing. And my stepdad, one day, while I'm out, goes into the little in-law suite, and he finds like marijuana and kicks BDD out. So this is also, I've already experienced the these are my kids, I'll fight you for them, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'm like, it's just marijuana, dude. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Still blinded by the hard drugs. And I'm just like, I'll go with them. And I think what they were planning was that I would stay and he would go, but that wasn't the situation. I was still blinded, and I was like, no, I'm going with him.
And do you think a dream of having this family where you share the same last name, you never split up, is from what you experienced as a child, that split, you know, that creating this now narrative in your mind that you're not going to be that, was that helping shade or blind you from the reality of this guy is not?
Yes. Yeah, it was. For sure. And at the time, I'm hoping he would probably, like, marry me, I guess. Like, ask me to marry him and stuff. Because I'm the oddball with the last name Slayton. And they all three have the same last name. So I'm like, you know, it's okay. We'll give it a chance, I guess. Blinded by love or what. And I don't ever think I actually loved the guy. So I don't know what it was. But we move out into this studio, like a studio apartment. Like, it has a kitchen, a bed, and a closet. And it's all in one room, no less bigger than that little square over there. And it actually might have been smaller than that. And so that is where we stayed for the first year of the twins' life, I do believe. And it was okay during that time. When we moved into the trailer, that's when things started going real south. So after the first year, we moved into a bigger place because they're walking around. I'm constantly on him about getting something bigger because we've outgrown the studio. And so we do. And this is in the Bayou La Battery area. And I remember taking the kids to a doctor there. And I told him that it was a man. And I saw no problem. I'm going to say this. I don't know if you want to take this out or anything. This is true, though, but it was a black man. I didn't care. I was like, yeah, he was great. I liked him a lot. But when I came home to tell him that he was black, he freaked out and was like, absolutely not. You are not going to take my boys back to that doctor. And I was just
Which is a wake-up call to people, because I have, you just experience people in the South, and they'll just say things like, racism is not around anymore. And it's like, if you really start pressing, people do have these prejudices that plague them in so many different ways.
Right. And so I'm like, okay, so is this guy racist? Like, what's going on? And so I didn't take him back. I picked a different doctor that was on the other side of the bay, and I just went with it. And this is when he started getting really controlling and a little crazy. So one day, this has already been, I'd say 2 years, almost 2 years, a year and a half maybe, something like that, because their boys are already 1. And I make pork chops. And he comes home and he's like, what is this? And I'm like, what do you mean it's dinner? And he's like, oh, well, my religion don't eat bottom feeding food. And I was like, what? What even is bottom feeding food? And he's like, pigs, lobster, shrimp, things that eat trash, basically.
This guy just go full Jewish.
I don't know. Like, he's like, I go to church on Saturdays, who has never took me to church in the first place. Like, never even knew he was religious. And he's like, by the way, I eat first. And I was like, okay, excuse me? And he was like, you make my plate and I eat first and then y'all eat after me. And I was like, okay. So that was our new thing. I always made sure I had a plate made for him when he got home, and whatever he didn't eat, we would finish, which was never a lot. He obviously was on drugs, so he didn't eat a lot.
Yeah.
So us never having food was not the problem. But
the issue was you having to be some kind of second-class citizen.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And all of a sudden, this new religion came out of nowhere. Like, we never went to church on Saturday. I don't know what churches are going on Saturday.
Could be Seventh-day Adventist.
Something. And that's just, he also explained he was the man of the house. If he wanted to go see other women, he could, but I was to worship him, basically. Like, I was his woman, but he wasn't my man, I guess you could say. He was.
So basically, he has demoted you to property.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so he was like, oh, but I would never do that because I love you so much. But just so you know, if I wanted to, I could. And I was just like, okay. And thing is, his dad, I should say, has got quite a bit of money. And he would always threaten me with, if you ever decide to leave me, I'm going to take the kids and you'll never see them again. And so at this point, I'm wanting to get out. Like, I already know what's going on. I see that he's on drugs. I want to get out. But I'm terrified because they do have a lot of money. And I know that I have my parents who will help me through it. But I don't know. I've seen situations where y'all break up and he has to have the kids for a week. And here's his thing. They're 1 year old, and he lives on a huge property line. I don't know how many acres he has. It's a lot. And his thing was, when we were at his house visiting, like his dad's house visiting, he would be like, just let him go. We're talking about 1 year olds. Mm-hmm. And he's like, just let him go. I was 8 months old walking through these woods barefooted all by myself. And we're talking like over 200 acres of woods. And I'm like, no, we're not going to just let him go.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I'm thinking if he ever
takes them, they're not going to make it.
They're not going to
Zero responsibility.
No. And so I'm like, all right, that's it. I have to stay with this guy to keep them alive, basically. And so that becomes that situation.
So now every day you're living, you're being driven by fear
Yes.
of this guy has more resources than me.
Yes.
He's already showed me that he could care less about me by the way that he's treating me at dinner.
Right. Right.
So you're not being able to process things and what's best for me and my kids. It's,
right.
I'm just trying to keep them alive at this point. You're so afraid of what he might do.
Yeah. And at one point he tells me, he's like, I'm so far in debt. And I'm like, how? Because we have a $600 house payment or rent. And you only give me $60 a week for food, which I somehow managed. Food was cheaper back then. Dalton's like, why can't you make that work now? And I'm like, it's like $60 for a cup of coffee, okay? Like, and I gotta have my coffee.
Yeah, we've been doing the Dave Ramsey budget thing, and we thought, we're like, $400 should get us enough food for the month.
Yes.
And it was like week 2, and I was like, what are we doing?
Yes, it is ridiculous. But for somehow, some way, I made $60 last 2 weeks in our house at the time. And he told me one day that his dad has always made him pay him back, that he gave him a list from when he was born, and he was like, here's all the diapers that I spent on you, here's all the wipes I spent on you, formula, and he had added it all up and was like, you got to pay me back now. And whether or not that was true, I don't know. But that was his excuse at the time to say, this is where all our money's going. I'm having to pay my dad for raising me. And in my opinion, if that was true, who in their right mind would decide to have a kid and then be like, by the way, you got to pay me back all this time?
Because you chose to come into the world.
Yeah.
You owe me.
Yeah.
It seems like maybe that was a lie to cover up from the drugs that he spent money on, maybe. Who knows?
But I
probably
also
a little truth to
it was a little true. I don't think it was as far as he made it seem. Maybe, if anything, he bought him a truck or something, and it was something reasonable.
Yeah.
You know? But I do know he did owe his dad money. I just don't know what it was for.
Yeah.
And so one night there's storms coming, and this was like a hurricane, and I think we're far enough from the water that it's not going to affect us, but we're going to get the winds, and we're in a single wide trailer, and there's humongous trees all around us, and my phone is going crazy, TV is going crazy, radio's going crazy, and it's like, take cover now. If you are in this area, you need to take cover. Well, he just did not care. And I was having, one thing I don't mess with is storms.
Yep.
I am terrified of tornadoes, high winds, all that good stuff. Like, even today, if there is even the slightest bit of strong winds or tornadoes, I make us go somewhere that has a basement or something. Because who wants to wake up with a tree on top of them, you know? So
I don't think you wake up with a tree on top of you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So and my fear is always going to be, what if it smashes me and I got these 2 little babies that don't know what to do without me, you know, that are surviving off me? Or what if I wake up and they're gone? Mm-hmm. So, and I still think like that, like, today. So,
or getting the alerts, you need to get out of town. He doesn't care. And so,
yes. So I start screaming at him, and I'm talking bloody murder, screaming at him. And I made the mistake by accidentally calling my mom somehow. Somehow my phone started ringing my mom. And she answers, and all she hears is her daughter screaming bloody murder to this guy. And so I realize I'm on the phone, and I'm like, hey, it's okay. And she's like, I'm already on my way. And at the moment, she's only 10 miles away. She gets there in like less than 5 minutes. And she busts through that door, and she is yelling. He's yelling. And he pulls a gun on her. And so I am freaking out. My mom wants us to come with her. But I know for a fact if I ever leave, that's it. He's going to go home. He's going to get a lawyer. It's going to be done.
Yeah.
And so I'm scared. I'm like, no. And so I step in front of the gun, and I'm just like, no. Like, you need to leave, talking to my mom.
So now there's a gun between you and your mom, and he's pointing the gun at you as your daughter.
Yes. And I'm 90% sure she had one as well, but she wasn't going to pull it out. For one, it was technically, she knows her laws. It was technically his property. I guess it was rental property. And she knew that she couldn't do anything about it because she had broken in. And her daughter was also in front of her, so she wasn't going to pull a gun out with me in the middle of it. But I make her leave, and he takes us somewhere safe. It was actually an apartment further away from the water, but we still had the high winds and the storms and the trees. And I just remember this was also, I do believe, hit the drug dealer's house at the time. So I just remember like wrapping the kids up. I brought a few blankets, and we slept in this little bedroom that had nothing in it. And I just kind of made a pallet with the blankets I had, and I grabbed both the boys, and I was like, okay, we're all together. So if anything happens, hopefully it happens to all three of us, or, you know, whatever. We all go out together or not. And I just prayed that whole night, like, please just keep us safe. Keep us safe. I did not sleep at all. So we go home, and things are just getting worse and worse and worse. He's just not there. And so this trailer, the boys had a room on the complete opposite side of the trailer than our room. And at this point, for some reason, he starts accusing me for cheating just out of nowhere. And I'm guessing that he's probably cheating on me, and he's getting this guilt.
Yeah.
And it's my fault. He's going to turn it around on me. So he's not sleeping. He's also disappearing into the night and just being gone all night long and coming home at random times, weird times, all kinds of stuff. And one night he is like, you have your boyfriend over, like wakes me up, and it's like, you have your boyfriend over. I know he's out there. And there's somebody walking around in the living room. I knew it was the kids. I was like, it's Rocky and River. And he was like, oh no. He grabs his gun and he runs out to the living room. And I'm just thinking, God, please put me in front of that bullet before it reaches the kids. Because I don't know what is going on in his mind. But I know it's the kids, and he thinks it's somebody, whatever guy I was seeing at the time. And so then again, I found myself in front of his gun. And luckily, nothing bad happened. And it was one of the boys. And of course, he yelled at them for being out. This is also a year and a half. They're a year and a half old. And they're just like, they just want their mom, And so I made the decision to move them, because there was a bedroom next to us, and that was a smaller bedroom, but it was their playroom. And mind you, with the grandparents they had every toy that you could think of. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to move their toys into the bigger room and move them next to us, because for one, they're right next to me. I can get to them faster if anything happens. And he hated that. Oh, he hated that. He was like, I can hear them cry at night. Like, this is ridiculous, blah, 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 blah. So, I just, at this point, I want to get away.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of praying here and there, and he's disappearing. I also have a friend that comes and moves in with me at the time, Caitlin from before. She was the one who gave me the job working as a telemarketer. So Caitlin comes and moves in with us because she also wants a new start. And I'm like, I basically begged her at the time when I went up there to visit her. I was like, come move in with me. Like, I would love to have you there. And I'm isolated down here. I don't have any friends. All I have is my mom, who I was not allowed to speak to after the storm situation. And which I would still speak to her here and there secretively.
Yeah.
But I was like, I need you. So she was like, yeah, absolutely. I'll come down there. And so she's like, one night, BDD decides to leave. It's like 12 o'clock at night, and we're all just sitting there watching TV, and he asked Caitlin to go with her or go with him. And Caitlin's like, yeah, I'll go. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you doing? And so she's texting me, and she's like, I just want to see what he's doing. Like, what's going on, you know? And I'm like, okay, cool. So she leaves, and she's just like, he's literally just driving around in Mobile, parking in like alleys, and he'll get out of the car for a little bit. But she's like, there's nothing. Like, I don't understand what he's doing. He's just driving around.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then he disappears out of the car. And so I'm guessing he's probably doing drugs or something, snorting something, dealing drugs. Who knows? Who knows? So she comes back home, and she's just like, I got a bad feeling. Like, we need to leave. Well, Easter's coming up, and I'm begging him. I'm like, we need to fix this. Let's go to church. I want to find a church. And so we go to church. I'm sorry, we don't go to church. Easter comes around, and he had promised me we were going to go to church. Well, he wakes up and he disappears, and I call his brother, and I'm like, something's going on. I don't know what's happening, but something's going on. So his brother calls, and he gives him some story about how he's going to check out a job, and his brother knows automatically. He calls me, and he's like, get out of there. So I leave, and I go to my mom's house, and I'm gone for 3 days. And then within those 3 days, he decides to file a missing persons report on the third day. He drives up to the police station, parks in there some crazy way, busts through there, and he starts telling the cop that I'm missing. The cop that I talked to, that he talked to, thought I was dead. He was like, when he came in there, I had already put him in cuffs halfway through his story because I honestly thought you and the boys were dead in the back of his vehicle, the way he was talking. And so that kind of was just like, wow. And he found every drug you could imagine in his car. There was a certain little powder that he had that he showed me, and I remember walking up to the bottle to look in it, and he snatched it away from me, and he was like, you take one sniff of this, like, I know you're just looking at this, but if you take one sniff of this, you're gonna die. And that's just how powerful these drugs were.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I know meth was in there. Meth was part of it. I think there was some heroin, all kinds of stuff. So he's in jail now. And this is basically this is the end. I'm talking to him a little bit, but his brother gives me this story, and he's like, I don't think he cares. He's like, this is what I want you to do. I want you to not talk to him at all, not to say a word.
Yeah.
And I want him to reach out to you. I want to see if he truly cares about you and the boys. And I'm like, okay. Never does.
Never reaches out.
Never reaches out. So he gets in jail. He tells me not to contact him, see if he contacts me. Never does. So at this point, I'm still letting his family visit the boys because they've done nothing wrong. And if anything, they've helped me through this. And I get a text message from his brother one day, and he says, I don't want you to take this personally, but we're not going to be visiting you anymore. And I was like, okay. And I was like, why? And he's like, I just don't want my heart to break in the long run. Like, I feel like he's not going to be there, which will make us not be there. And I was just like, okay, done. So that was the last time I heard from him. And I never heard.
So what about the really like this is a huge transition in your life now.
Yeah.
You know, that perfect image that you had set up in your mind, that is slipping away.
Yes. Yeah. That
how
slipped
are
away
you-
a long time ago.
How are you in this moment of transition of his family breaking away? It's looking like he's never going to reach out again. What is your brain like? What are you going through as a now single mom with 2 boys?
I feel great. I'm away from it. I was in fear constantly. And now I'm still a little fearful because he's still in jail. I don't know what's going to happen when he comes out of jail. But I'm like, it's okay. We have got this. And I'm reading my Bible every day. I've moved in with my mom, and I'm just going by what the Lord wants me to do.
Yeah.
And so at this point in my life, he also gets out of jail. Still don't hear a single word from him or his family at all.
And this has been how long?
Probably since he's gotten out of jail, or since he went to jail.
Yeah, since he went to jail, yeah.
Probably, I think this is 3 months. Because I think he was only in jail for 2. And then he got out. And so I meet Dalton. A funny little story, too. This was after I had the babies. I went to a party with BBD. And I remember just, like having fun. Like I had just had the babies, but they were okay. They were with my dad. And I was like, I'm going to let loose a little, And I remember singing a song, and I wasn't doing anything crazy. I was just singing the song out loud and like having fun and dancing. And he was like, you need to stop. You need to calm down. You're embarrassing. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to embarrass you. And then literally in that same minute, Dalton busts through the door of this party, and he's got a sailor's hat on, and he's got an American flag tied around his neck, and he's just singing this song as loud as he could. He jumps on top of the bar and starts dancing, and I'm like, that's my man right there. Like, wow.
Just for people that are listening, Dalton is 6'6", and he's on top
6'7".
of 6'7", and he's on
6'7".
top of a bar.
Yes.
How tall was his ceiling?
It was not that tall. He was actually kind of bent over a little. But I just remember thinking in the moment, like, wow, that is...
What a man.
Yes, what a man. And so ever since then, I kind of had my eye on Dalton. Not really, I guess, my eye on Dalton, but I was just like, in that moment, I was like, that's going to be my next mistake right there. So I am single, and I decide to like just try to slide into his DMs, like, hey, what's up? This poor guy, Dalton, does not know what flirting is at all. Yeah. He does not get the gist of it at all. So I kind of give up on him after like a month of trying. And then I think at the end of that summer, he finally hits me back up, and he's like, oh, hey, you're cute. And I was like,
where you been? I've been literally.
Yeah. So during that time, I'm moving back to Coolman in my dad's house. And it was perfect timing. That's where Dalton lived. And the day I moved, he came and helped me unload. Dalton did. And it just started from there. I mean, it was just, you could not separate us after that. And we decided that we were going to get married and everything after dating for very little, not even a full year. And I felt like I didn't really need God at that time. I wouldn't say that. I knew who God was. I've always known God growing up, but I wasn't putting him first like I should be. And to be fair, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that we were supposed to put God first like we are.
Yeah.
And so I was like, he sent me Dalton. This is great. Life's great. So Dalton and I are kind of still like on the party side. And we're going to parties and stuff. And we go to one party. And it's the same. So it's not even really a party. It's his cousin's house. And we just go and drink and have fun together. And one night, I'm there. And I did not drink a single drop of alcohol. And I am pushed up against the wall by his cousin's baby daddy at the time. And I was sexually assaulted then. And now Dalton is there, but he's passed out. It's probably like 2:00 in the morning. I wasn't drinking because his cousin at the time was pregnant and she couldn't drink. So, I didn't want her to be left out. I just was like, she was like my best friend at the time. So I was like, there was no need for me to drink if she wasn't, I guess you could say. And my mistake was I should have told her right then and there, but I didn't. And she had a lot going on that night. There was a lot of commotion going on, and I just remember thinking I don't want to stress her out anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad I didn't tell her, because I'm sure she would have told him, and there would have been a lot more commotion, and Dalton wasn't there to do anything if anything got out of control. So several months went by. We had our wedding. They came to our wedding, and I played it cool. I told Dalton the second he woke up on our way home, and he was mad. He wanted to go. He wanted me to turn the car around. He wanted to end it right then and there.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, because I knew how this guy was, and I was like, I didn't want to embarrass his cousin at the time. And so I was just like, we'll tell her when the time is right. And that was the biggest mistake of my life, I think, at the time. I should have told her right then and there. I also wasn't doing CrossFit at the time, so I wasn't as strong.
But that's a good, important thing to say, if, and that you learned you were the victim in that situation.
Yeah.
But you're thinking like you were the perpetrator. I've got to be careful about their feelings. I've got to, and you were the one assaulted. And so for anybody that's assaulted, you are the victim, and you need to speak up immediately, because other people's feelings at that point doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Because your feelings have been invaded. You've been abused.
Yes. And my thing has, I've always been like, if this ever happens to me, there's no way I'm keeping it a secret.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. Of course, I told Dalton the second it happened, because I felt like I betrayed him. Like, I felt like, did I just cheat? Like, what happened? Like, what? Even though I didn't want any of it, the whole situation was disgusting, and it was uncomfortable, and I hated it. And I just remember telling him and bawling my eyes out about it. And this happened every single night. I would just bawl my eyes out over this situation, and I would just, it made me hate myself.
Mm-hmm.
There was nights where I'd wake Dalton up and I'd be like, I don't want to live right now. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm miserable.
Just shame?
Yes, shame. Not have telling her yet. I felt like I betrayed her, felt like I betrayed Dalton. And the whole time I've done nothing wrong. And our wedding comes and goes. They're there. And I'm happy to see her and everything. But then a couple more months happen, and she has the baby. And she reaches out to my sister-in-law, who my sister-in-law has been through it with me through thick and thin. I mean, she was there for me since day one. And she reaches out to my sister-in-law. She's like, I'm a little sad that Dalton and Brooke haven't came to see us yet. And so that is when I'm like, let's tell her. Like, it's time. She's had the baby. There's nothing to be stressed out about. I guess I should have thought about postpartum and all that, but the baby's no longer in her. So I'm like, let's tell her.
Yeah.
And so it was New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. It was in the middle of the night. And she's texting me and she's like, I miss you. I really want to see you. You should come over and hang out, because we're having like a little get together for New Year's. And I'm kind of ghosting her. And I get a few drinks in me. And then I'm like, I'm with Shelby, my sister-in-law. And I can say Shelby because I just love Shelby. Shelby needs a shout out, basically.
Yeah.
But I'm I'm like, it's time to tell her. And Shelby's like, let's do it. And I have 2 other girls with me, and they also have been sexually assaulted by this same person.
Oh, wow.
And not as bad as I was, but he just has, I don't know what is wrong with his brain, but he thinks he could just walk up and grope somebody and stuff, like at parties and stuff. And I'm realizing this when I'm telling them this, and I'm just like, okay. And so we all 4 go together to her house, and we get her to come outside, and I tell her my part. Start crying, tell her my part. They also say, he's done this to me, not as bad as he did with her, but he's done this to me. And she's like, okay, hold on. She goes inside, stays inside for a little bit, and then she comes out and she gets me, and she's like, you need to come inside and confront him. And I'm just like, all right, I'll do it. Like, whatever it takes. And mind you, I don't want to say I forgave him, but I was willing to forgive him. And what hurt me the most was me not telling her and having that secret, that burden on me. And because I was willing to forgive him. And when I walked in there to confront him, I was like, it happened. You know it happened. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was so drunk he didn't even realize that it happened. I don't know. But I was like, I know it happened. I was sober. It happened. And he was just in denial. No, that never happened. You're a liar, blah, blah, blah. So she is kind of like, I'm going to leave him. Like, we're going to get ready and I'm going to leave him. And I'm like, okay, great. And I'm like, do you want to come with us? Like, grab your babies, let's go. And she's like, no, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to leave them in the morning. And I was like, okay. So we leave. And that next morning was probably the worst morning of my life, because I had realized that she somehow got it out and made me the bad guy. And that's what hurt me the most. I was willing to forgive him. I was willing to move on from it. But for her to go and lie like she did and say that it didn't happen, I guess because she was embarrassed herself. Maybe she was in the same situation as I was at one point and was like, I can't leave. She made me the liar. And I'm sure he had some part doing into it, you know, being the manipulator and all that. But it went from just me, Dalton, and a few girls knowing to Dalton's entire family knowing. And all they knew was that I had lied about this. And I was just doing it for attention, whatever it was. So my girl Shelby at the time, she was the only one who stuck beside me through it all. And she said she would, like, if we were out and about and somebody was kind of like giving me the look, she'd be like, do you want to hear her side of the story? And I just kind of be like, oh, okay. And so we're doing this. And Shelby would be like, no, you need to hear her side of the story. And I would tell my side of the story. And at one point, this guy calls Dalton and he's like, you need to tell your wife to shut the F up or I'm going to shut her up for you. And Dalton's like, where you at? Where you at, dude? Yeah. Let's go. Like, you want to shut her up? Come on. And he's like, well, I'm on my way to Tennessee right now. And he's like, oh, so you're running. So it was a big ordeal for about 6 months. Yeah. Family hated me. I was the oddball when I came around. I didn't want to be around. And for the longest, we didn't come around. And Dalton and Shelby stood by me that whole time. And there was a lot going on with my dad and my stepmom at the time as well. So I didn't have them either. All I had was Dalton and Shelby. And I just wanted to leave. Like, I was like, let's get out of state. Let's do something. Let's disappear. And I was so depressed, was so lost. At one point, she was like, I did leave, or she left him. And I couldn't forgive her. Like, I was like, I don't care what you did. You're not coming back around me and my family. And the family tried to move past that. And they would I remember one time we went to CC's and I didn't want anything to do with her. And we walked in and she was there. And we just turned around and walked out. And the family was like, wow, why would you do this? Blah, blah, blah. Let's just move past this all. And I'm just like, no. Like, I have no forgiveness in my heart. And I'm just depressed. I'm mad. I'm sad. And I remember driving in the car one day and the song, I think it's called Oceans, came on. Where that song that's like
And I will call upon her. I will call upon you.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, I am drowning. I am literally drowning. And I just sat there and imagined Jesus coming to me and pulling me out of the water like he did with Peter and holding me. And I was like, I need you. Oh my gosh, I need you. And Dalton, we went to service here at Temple. We were going to a lot of different churches too, because at the time they came to Temple and I didn't want to be around them. And so we tried Daystar and Ryan's Creek, and none of them were as good as Temple. So I was like, you know what? Temple's big enough that we can go back and sit in a different area.
Yeah.
So we come back to Temple, and it's just a sermon about how the man of the house needs to lead his family to the Lord no matter what. And Dalton did that exactly, because I wasn't for it. I was like, you know what? I don't care if we skip church. I just don't. I don't know. I knew I needed Jesus, but I didn't know how bad I needed him at that moment. And so without Dalton, I don't think I would be where I am now in my faith.
Yeah.
So Dalton, he was on top of it. He was like, we're going to church. Get up and get ready. We're going to church. And I did not want to serve, didn't want to do anything like that. And he was like, we're going to Foundations, whether you like it or not. And so he really got me into...
Took the lead.
Yes. He definitely took that role seriously after Malcolm preached on that. And I'm so glad he did, because that's exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
And so I'm pregnant with Ramsey at this point in my life. And I'm just like constantly asking for, not for forgiveness, but for me to be able to forgive. And I'm like, help me move on. Because I'm still kind of sour with both sides of the family. And I'm like, what should I do? What do you want me to do? And one day something came over my heart. And I was like, I forgive him. Like, it's okay. It's okay. And I remember telling Dalton's cousin that she could come to the baby shower. And I was just okay with my stepmom at the time. I was just like, yeah, whatever you want to do. You want to see the grandkids? Come on. And I just had peace in my heart, God gave me peace. And so every single sermon, I'd probably pray that prayer that Malcolm gives. If you're not saved, if you don't think you're going to go to heaven, then let's say this prayer. Until I finally was like, I'm going to heaven. I know I am. And
beautiful moment.
Yes. And I just, like I said, I had peace in my heart. I was reading my Bible every day. I was doing the Bible study. And now our life revolves around church. Like,
yeah.
If there's a birthday party on Sunday, we're like,
sorry.
Yeah, why would you make it on Sunday, dude? That's the day of the Lord. So our life now revolves around church, and it is because I felt like I was drowning. And even then, actually, maybe that's not what I should say, because even then I was kind of in denial. Like, I was like, I'm not going, I don't care to go. And Dalton was like, we are going. And I tried therapy. I tried all kinds of good stuff. And Dalton was just like, this is what you need. You need God. We need God. And
Your soul's cry and your flesh's denial is a real battle.
Yes.
Your soul is crying out. You're
Yes.
drowning. Your
Right.
flesh is saying, probably dealing with the shame and the decisions you've
Yeah.
made, and everything in you is saying, you'll just be all right by yourself.
Right.
You deserve to be alone.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm thankful that you had. I mean, the story of your life seems to be like this story of two men, one godly
Yes.
and one ungodly, one that was self-sacrificing, one who wanted you not to even eat at the dinner table.
Yes.
Yeah, one who said, we're going to church no matter what.
Yes.
And one said, was using church to manipulate you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what a lesson for all of us that, we're really the sum of who we put ourselves around.
Mm-hmm.
And people either call us up to a higher standard or drag us down and use us. And only men of God can really transform the lives of the people that they serve. And God really does the transforming. So beautiful. So in your story, a lot we've covered here. I mean, abuse, even your own bad decisions leading you to some tough situations.
Yep.
Having no place to stay, having a gun drawn on you, all these really terrible things.
Yeah.
What would you say if you could go back to Brooke at the moment that you're trapped in a relationship you don't want to be in, afraid of where you're going to go, afraid of what might happen, your kids might be taken away? What would you say to the Brooke there to allow her to trust in God and to do the decision and let him, trust him with the outcome, leave to trust him with the outcome? Would you say?
I would probably say, for one, don't be afraid to ask for help, because for some reason I was scared of the outcome. I've been told that I've seen stories too, I've seen it unfold to where even if you are in need, somehow it gets turned on you and I was afraid. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because the cop that was there who did help me was 110% on my side. He had the, what's it called? A little registration thing that if he did somehow get out, if somebody bailed him out, he wasn't allowed to come near me.
Restraining order.
A restraining order, yes. Restraining order. And,
so when you reached out, people were willing to help. So reach out.
Once they realized what was going on, and once I was like, this is happening, I mean, even his own brother was like, get out of that house.
So you weren't as alone as you thought you were.
No, yeah. Just don't be afraid to ask for help. All I had to do was ask for help, and it probably could have ended a long time ago. And that's exactly what I did. I finally asked for help, and
freedom came.
Yes.
Tough journey, but
yes,
people were there to help you. And then to the abuse, the probably putting yourself in a situation you shouldn't have been in, but then something happening to you that you didn't deserve, that you couldn't control. To the woman who's been assaulted, who feels ashamed, who feels like, I can't tell nobody because it's going to cause problems. What would you tell her?
Don't hold back. Tell them. Like I always said, I'm going to be that person, and I'll probably knock this person out. Like, how dare they touch me like this? But it was the complete opposite. And I guess I didn't understand that feeling until it happened. And I understand that it's scary. I understand that you feel like you were the problem and you don't want to cause any more problems, but be the problem. Speak out, say something. As soon as it happens, let somebody know. Because the more you wait, the longer it is to, I don't know what am I trying to say here, the longer I waited, the more of a problem it became when it was out.
Absolutely.
So don't be afraid to say something the moment it happens.
How would you say that those two things have shaped the way that you parent now? The way that you serve? Because, I mean, you're the most consistent server in the children's area. You're there every Sunday. You're pouring into kids that don't have a good home life. You Sunday, Wednesday, you don't miss. you're committed to the kingdom. How have those two things shaped the way that you live and operate now in that aspect?
I used to be full of hate, anger, like, what's the word? I wouldn't give no mercy, give no
Bitter.
mercy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm just like at peace. Like, one of my big things I had was road rage. Kind of still fun. Depends who you are, what you're doing. But I try my hardest to show love no matter what. The person at the grocery store, the person serving me at the restaurant, I want them to know that, for one, I'm from Temple Baptist. Two, you are loved and you deserve to be loved no matter who you are, what you're going through. And three, there's a place for you, and it's here at this church if you know, wherever you want to go.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, last thing as we finish up, I'm just thankful that you called out in the moment that you were drowning, and I'm thankful that God saw you and sent Dalton, even if your first impression was him dancing crazy on a bar stool, to see the transformation in his life to being a follower of Christ and you being a follower. Thankful for you taking the things that's happened to you and not being afraid to share them, because it's in bringing them out of the darkness into the light that you find freedom.
Yes.
But others find freedom as well.
Yes.
And so we hope that anybody listening to this, any woman who's been abused, been neglected, had been assaulted, that you would speak out, that you would talk, and that you would know that there's help out there and people wanting to surround you with love. What would you say to close us out, Brooke? I'll let you close us out here. What's the number one thing that's allowed you to overcome these trials, that made you to be able to overcome?
Definitely God himself. I have been able to overcome all of this because I opened my heart open to God. I let him in. And there was a moment in my life where I literally felt like I was drowning. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like I had bad anxiety. And like I said, I just imagined Jesus lifting me out of the water. And it does not happen instantly. It took Dalton a lot of time and effort of dragging me out of the bed and getting me here. So don't think that it's just going to happen overnight, because it's not.
It's a process.
It is a process. It took many sermons for me to realize I'm not saved and I need to be saved. And just don't give up. Don't give up on God. Let him in and let him give him the patience to work on you and open you up, and just, let him in.
Let him in.
Open the door.
Open it up to the opportunity for God's grace to pull you out of the water you're drowning in.
Yes. Knock and he will answer. Is that
Yeah. Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, Brooke, thank you for your time. Thank you for the opportunity to hear your story. And I'm grateful that you did not give up. I'm thankful to see what Christ has done in your life. And you have overcome so many obstacles. And now you're pouring into people on a weekly basis. And I really believe God's going to use you in the near future in ways that are going to blow a lot of people's minds. So grateful for you. And thank you for being on the podcast.
Absolutely. It's been fun.
So we ended the podcast, but we're back because we did not close up a perfect ending. We started this podcast with a dream that Brooke had to have a family with the same last name and a unit, and she wants to highlight that still happens. So Brooke, take us away.
Yes. So my dream was that we would all have the same last name. We would I would be able to show my kids how much we truly loved each other and the love we had for each other, so that they could grow up knowing what true love was and everything. And God answered that prayer for me. At first I was thinking, okay, this is going to be tough. This is not going to work out the way I intended it to be. But Dalton came into our life, and he had no hesitation adopting Rocky and River. And we went through with that. It was a scary journey. We had to serve him with papers and all kinds of things, but he did not care. He did not reach out. BBD did not reach out. And he was able to go through the adoption, Dalton was, and we're now all Ballengers. We are one big happy family, and my boys get to see what true love is every single day. So God did, in fact, answer that prayer for me and is still answering it. I mean, we are not a perfect family, but we truly do love each other.
Yeah.
And they get to experience that. And it's such a young age, too. They were 3 when we got married. So they still to this day don't even know the whole story. And that is something that we're just going to have to trust God with.
Yeah.
When the time comes, yes. But as of right now, we're all Ballengers. We're all one.
Unit.
Yeah.
I love it. Reminds me of Joseph. You know, he said, Joseph, you're gonna have you're gonna rule and reign over your brothers. They're gonna bow down to you. And the moment after that, his promise was, or his dream was, him in prison.
Yeah.
Looking back at the end of his life, they do bow down to him, but it's completely different than what they thought.
Yes.
And I'm just thankful that God, even in the midst of your rebellion and your sin, still cared enough about your dream to make it a reality.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful that God doesn't, that our sin doesn't cause God to stop loving us.
Absolutely.
And he loved us through it. And so I'm grateful for that. Not only your sin, your bad mistakes, but also the horrible things that happened to you that you couldn't control. God was still with you, and he said, I'm still going to make, going to make this bad situation a beautiful blessing. And that's what he's done.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.